Welcome into another edition of The Session with Londa and David. My name's David Austin, and sitting across from me is the prettiest girl I've ever seen. You're dressed today like you're in an episode of Yellowstone, which I really enjoy. You are Londa Joanne Sherwood Austin, and I am thrilled to be sitting across from you today.
Well, thank you very much. I'm excited about our topic, so let's get rolling.
Me too. The Session with Londa and David is brought to you by Sherwood Austin Solutions because it's a business program. And with over 40 years of combined sales success, Sherwood Austin Solutions can help diagnose and prescribe solutions for any problems in your business. A lot of business consultants only focus on the bottom line. Nay, not at Sherwood Austin Solutions. We take a holistic approach to make sure all of your goals are being met. Call or text Londa today at 509-491-2663 so she can sit down with the people who care about your company and brainstorm ways to make it more efficient, more financially successful, and an overall better place to work. You're not going to remember the phone number. I will say it again, but you can email Londa at SherwoodAustin.com. That's Londa at SherwoodAustin.com, or call 509-491-2663 for Sherwood Austin Solutions. It's a great time to be in business. Why not be in business with us? Okay, you said it during the startup. You're excited about this topic. What is it?
So we talked last week about perseverance, right? And we're kind of this is kind of part two.
Okay.
I think, because it struck a chord with a lot of people.
Yes.
It strikes a chord with me.
Yes.
For sure. And so I think, we're going to continue the conversation about, I don't know what to call it necessarily, but just hanging in there, sticking with it.
Okay.
Follow through.
Okay.
I
know a lot of people at this time of year especially kind of lose sight of what their business goals are and trying to achieve them.
Right.
Because they're in holiday mode. People are thinking about where they're going to go skiing. They're thinking about, are they going to go home for Christmas? They're thinking about all the things that have to do with the season, but not necessarily about their work productivity.
Right. So there's a few different schools here that people are in.
Okay.
They're focused on the holiday and, not much else.
Right.
They're racing to finish their goals for the year.
Yes.
Or they didn't come close to their goal at all, so they've given up.
Right.
And they're just kind of checked out.
Okay.
So those are the three places that we find a lot of people in. What we don't find is people typically in a really good state of balance or harmony.
Okay.
So that, that if anything is something I want people to take away from today is to, work to achieve that. And I call it a state of harmony because I don't like the word balance. I feel like things are always out of balance in your life. Nothing's ever like really balanced. There's always something that's got a little more focus, a little more weight than other things, right? And so just finding kind of the harmony in the imbalance. And let me use this example. If you think of a great piece of music,
okay, there
are balances in the music, but they're, they come at different times.
Sure.
So the music, it swells at times, and sometimes it's really full, and then sometimes it's really quiet, mild, and there are rests in music.
Yeah.
And it adds to the piece. And our life is very similar.
So what you're saying is a life that is monotonous is boring, but a life that swells and contracts, it crescendos and decrescendos is kind of a cool deal.
Well, it's reality, right?
Yeah.
Because sometimes, it's reality because that's life.
Sure.
That is what life does.
Sometimes your hair's on fire and other times you feel like you don't have anything to do at all.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes you find yourself in a place where you don't have anything to do, but you want something to do. Business is slow. And so let's talk about that.
Okay.
that school for just a minute. That group of people who maybe they didn't meet their goals.
Okay.
They missed the mark, and they're feeling frustrated and depressed, or even shameful.
I know a lot of realtors and lenders specifically who feel that way this year.
Yeah. So there's a few things you can do. You can just hang up your hat.
Okay.
And phone it in for the rest of the year and enjoy your holiday. You could do that.
Sure.
That is an option.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's the time for the rest.
We hear a lot in the real estate and mortgage industry of professionals who in December try to turn it off. They try to fully disassociate. And what they say to people is, oh, I'm doing my planning for next year. And what they really mean is I'm watching a lot of reruns of Yellowstone on my Fire Stick. You know what I'm saying? They're not necessarily working a lot of times.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not in people's homes, but that may be true.
Sure.
And that's okay if that's where you are and that's what you want or need to do. And you feel like you've achieved enough.
Sure.
Maybe it's time for a break. That's one thing you could do.
Okay.
But let's say, you didn't meet your goals and you're feeling really frustrated about it and you don't have enough business and you want some more.
Sure.
Then, then get to work.
Yeah.
And how do you kind of shake off missing the mark and get yourself back up again and refocused? And that's something I say all the time, that success has very little to do with focus. And I know there's people hearing this who want to fight right now.
Right.
No, stick with me. It has everything to do with the ability to refocus.
Right. That's exactly right.
Right. So being able right now to refocus. And are you going to hit your goal by the end of the year? No, probably not. We've got 3 weeks left in the year. And so, however, can you refocus so that next month doesn't feel the same way? You sure can, you know?
Yeah.
And you do the things that work. That's the thing, is people often think there's a magic pill, a magic formula. It's not what it is. It's putting in the work consistently.
That's exactly right.
Just do the things that have always worked for you. Keep doing those, and then maybe get creative around finding some new ideas.
Sure.
Putting yourself in your client or your consumer's position and spending time thinking about, okay, if I were a client or a consumer right now in my industry, what would I want? What would be important to me? And that takes a time to, that takes sitting down in front of a blank page.
Sure.
Right? It's about letting your brain have the space to think creatively and putting all the distractions away long enough to be able to see things from a different perspective. Because doing the things you've always done that have always worked well for you are important to keep going.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Keeping things going is always easier than start, stop.
Sure.
Now, you can keep things on life support, right? And so that you're not fully focused on it, but keeping it going is important. But also coming in with some fresh new ideas is important. And generally speaking, if you've been in if you know your industry at all, your business at all, then giving yourself that creative time to come up with new ideas is important. And, maybe what we often want to do is we just want to talk to somebody and say, well, what are you doing? Or we want to go online and look for the latest, greatest training. Or we want to, and a lot of times you've got the answers inside you.
Right.
It's somewhere in there, but you're not giving yourself the creative space.
Right.
Without distraction to come up with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so there's still time to refocus, and you may not achieve everything you want to or hit all the goals by the end of the year, but at least you won't be at a standstill.
I got you.
You'll be having forward progress, and I'll tell you, you'll feel a lot better about going into the holidays. You're going to have a happier Christmas and New Year if you've got some momentum going.
Yeah, if you've got some stuff in the pipeline, you're going to feel a lot better.
For sure. And then you've got the people who have achieved their goals, and I mean, they can either keep going or wrap it up or whatever they want to do. So I know that for me, for years and years, I always took the month of December off from kind of everything. And I wanted to focus on my kids, my family, and making Christmas holidays and traditions really special and all those things.
Right.
And so, then once I got into real estate, real estate doesn't sleep. And so I wasn't able to continue that. And now I don't want to. I don't feel like taking December off because I don't have kids at home anymore. That's long behind me.
Sure.
So I think it's just a matter of finding the place for some fresh perspective might be really, really helpful for a lot of people right now to be able to keep going.
I gotcha.
To not give up and be frustrated. And, I would say above all, stop telling yourself stories that are not based in fact or truth.
Right.
We can run away with ourselves.
It's really easy to do. You know what I mean?
Oh, a very common story right now is, well, nobody's buying my fill in the blank, whatever your product or service is, because it's the holidays.
Right.
That is so untrue.
Right. People are still going to work, and that's something to think about. We think because, maybe our industry seems slow, we think there's something weird in the air. Well, maybe we're not doing the right things we need to do to stay out of the trends. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you're out with your head down, calling on people, telling them who you are and what you do, you are going to get business no matter what you do.
That's right.
Because you're out putting in the work. I've been in sales teams before, and there's always one guy in the sales team that people say things like, man, he's pretty lucky, or man, she must have a great book of business because she seems like it's effortless. Well, you know what? Those people put in the work.
Right.
They go see the people. They tell the people who they are and what they do. And then, wait for it, they ask for the business.
Right.
If you don't ask for the business, you're a professional visitor.
Oh, say that again.
If you don't ask for the business, you're a professional visitor. So you got to ask for the business.
That's so good. I mean, the number of times that people have come by my office with a pop-by gift of some kind, but don't ask for the business.
Right.
It's been so many, I can't even tell you how many.
And you understand why they do that, right? They do it because they're afraid to get a no. And they think if they drop off a notebook or a coffee cup or some pens
or some popcorn
that
or
magically you're going to say, you know what, that was such a nice gift. I think I do want to use that business.
Okay, they do it because some training somewhere told them to do it to help keep them top of mind.
Yeah, but you got to ask for the business.
Thank you. And that's true. The training's not wrong. The training isn't wrong.
Right.
But the training does miss a piece, and it's that piece right there.
Right.
You've got to ask for the business. And sometimes those conversations seem scary and hard, but they're not.
Right.
Hey, I brought this by for you. Do you have a quick minute? I just need 2 minutes. Sit down, catch up.
Yes. And ask for business.
How's it going? How's life? Hey.
Who can I help today?
Yep.
Who can I help to make your business easier today?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
If you're not saying that, you're missing out.
Give me a chance.
Yes.
I don't want to just come by here and drop off a cookie for Christmas in a cute coffee mug and walk out the door and not ask you for the opportunity to work with you to service your client, whatever it is, to do business with you. And here's a great line I learned in training, and this is kind of an old school line, but it still works. Is there any reason why you wouldn't give me a shot?
Oh, I like that.
Is there any reason why we can't try working together?
I like that.
Is there any reason why you wouldn't use me, my company? Is
Sure.
there any reason why you wouldn't give me your next deal?
And you know what? When people say to you, oh, because I've got a relationship with this guy and I really like this guy, there's a way to overcome that. And
That's
here's
right.
what you say. Tell you what, I don't want to mess up your relationships, but if there's anything that guy cannot do for you, I would love if you'd give me a shot. Put me next in the rotation, coach.
Perfect.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it's crazy how many times that has started a relationship in my business and we've become top producing partners.
It started this relationship.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
I had as a working realtor, had a couple of lenders that I worked with, but I hadn't found one that I really, really clicked in with.
Right.
And we could work together super seamlessly. They were good. I couldn't put my finger on any problem, but I was just looking for that, I don't know, that kind of perfect marriage.
Well, I know what you were looking for that you didn't have. You wanted a business partner who in every conversation would edify you. You wanted that.
That was true. That's
and
true.
That's something they don't teach you when you go to lending school.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. And it is something you do for your realtor partners.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That was appealing. I also needed someone who worked the way I worked, which is
Right.
quickly.
Yeah.
Quick, right now.
That's right.
I need it right now.
Yes.
And that's how I work. That's how I want my business partners to work. And so I needed that. And you did that as well. And now, of course, we had no idea we'd be here.
Right. But what a great deal, right? I called on you for business.
Yeah.
You thought I was kind of cute. Okay, fine. I didn't think you were cute. I thought you were ethereal. You were so far above me. There was no chance that I was ever going to swing for the fences that high, right? So for me, it was no pressure. I just wanted to work with you because you were a crushing it rock star agent.
Right.
And so that it made easy. It made it easy.
The point being, ask for the business. You never know where it will end up.
Well, you know what? Think about this. And I know this is going to sound crazy, but think about that one guy that you were friends with in college that always had a different girl at his apartment on the weekends. Always a different girl. That guy was asking for the business. You know what I mean? That guy was a closer.
Oh, I guess. Yeah.
Guys like me would go out to a bar and we'd see all the pretty girls and we'd offer to get them a drink or something. And then at the end of the night, we'd be at home because we weren't closers.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. You did have someone who told you one time to in sales use what you used in college to get girls.
That's exactly right.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And what I used always was humor. I'm a funny guy.
Yo, the funny guy always gets the girl. I'm telling you right now. But we're getting off in the
Well,
weeds.
no, we're not, because in sales, find out what your niche is and use that, and remember, ask for the business.
Okay, well, that actually is a good point, because when I first started in real estate, and I've done a lot of different things, but real estate is still currently my bread and butter, right? So when I first started, I was mentoring a lot of young moms.
Right.
And I thought, well, this is my market right here. I just have to keep doing what I'm doing and let them know that I'm doing real estate now.
Right.
And, the first year that I was in business, 86% of my business came from my mom groups that I was involved with. 86%.
That's amazing.
Yes. Yep. It was incredible. I mean, I'm eternally grateful to that group of young moms
Yep.
that I got to befriend and mentor and love, and we walked together through some really challenging times,
Sure.
And so they were deep in momming,
Right.
and my kids
Yeah.
were grown, but that was actually, it was like about a year after I started real estate, my granddaughter, Amelia, passed away.
Mm-hmm.
And that mommy group knew my daughter-in-law, Chanel, and my granddaughter, Amelia. And so they, it was incredible the way that it brought us all together and was the foundation for my real estate business. And this was an instance where I didn't ask for the business.
Right.
Because I didn't need to. I was so deep in their lives that I just had to, every once in a while, remind them I was in the
Sure.
business.
Yes.
But they were coming to me asking me, questions about real estate. And they did respond, like I would say, hey, who do you know that I could practice doing a listing presentation? I know they're not interested in selling. I just need to practice this.
Right.
That was real and honest,
Right.
because for me, the presentation is really important, the scripting and the timing and all that stuff. And so, I ended up, it was really foundational to my business. And so today, when things are slow, when things are lagging, I find that all of those things are still true. The fortune is still in the follow-up. Just follow up. And if you've got customers who are loyal customers to whatever your product or service is, ask them for help. Ask them for referrals.
Yeah.
Have you loved buying our widget?
Right.
Have you loved working with us to get your widget serviced? Have you, you know what I mean?
Sure.
Oh, great. Who do you know who would also love buying our widgets?
Right.
Yeah. So, it's not hard to ask for the business. It's hard to fight your own story in your brain.
Right. And that's what makes it hard to ask for the business. You're telling yourself a story. You're saying things in your own head like, oh, this person doesn't want to work with me because blah, 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 blah. Or I would love to work with this person because they're so awesome and I really enjoy them, but I don't know that I have a chance because they like blah, 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 blah. You know what I mean? We talk ourselves out of more business than
Absolutely.
we go get.
Yeah. Absolutely. This is why I love Mel Robbins' 5-4-3-2-1, practice.
Right.
And it's based in science, which she didn't know when she first started using it.
Right.
She didn't know why it worked.
Right.
5-4-3-2-1, you launch yourself out of bed.
Right.
5-4-3-2-1, you pick up the phone. Before your brain has that 10 seconds to start talking you out of it, you just move.
Yeah.
And so that, I love that 5-4-3-2-1 thing. She wrote a book about it, has a great podcast about it. Actually, she's launched a podcast now, which is phenomenal. But that concept of 5-4-3-2-1 changed my life.
Right.
It's how I picked up the phone every time. It's still how I pick up the phone because it still weighs 600 pounds someday.
I gotcha.
It's still hard to make those calls someday. Some days. And so doing everything before your brain activates and talks you out of whatever you're doing, before you start telling yourself the story, and sometimes you've got to argue with yourself a little bit, you start telling yourself you didn't do it fast enough. You start telling yourself the story. Now you got to unwind that and go, what do I really know?
Sure.
And this is from another author and speaker who I love, Cy Wakeman.
Yep.
Who's incredible and talks a lot about the stories that we tell ourselves.
Yes.
and how to, and if you lead a team, I'm telling you now, you've got to be following Cy Wakeman because nobody can strip all the drama out of a situation, language, anything like Cy Wakeman can.
Okay.
Right. So, and that's where I first started thinking about or learning about the stories that we tell ourselves.
Right.
And question everything you tell yourself.
I like it.
What do I really know? What do I actually know?
Sure.
All I know is I want to do business with that person and our previous interactions have been really pleasant.
So let's do business together.
I mean, that's really all you know, probably.
We were on a sales call last week, and I said to the owner of this business, what's it going to take for us to get into business together?
Yep.
How do I get in business with you right away? Tell me how to do that.
Yep. And they did.
Yeah, there you go.
Yep. And now it's about the follow-up.
That's
and
right.
The follow-up and the follow-up.
And that's on your agenda today.
And I'm great at follow-up. I mean, I say to you all the time, I will call them every day.
That's right.
I will call them every day until that's how we got that appointment.
That's right.
Last week. Because here's what happened. This is a real life example. I got a contact name.
Mm-hmm.
They said, you need to call so-and-so.
Right.
And talk to them. That's who you talk to about this.
Right.
I called. They said, oh, you know what? You actually need to talk to this other guy.
But they said, this is exciting. I think this is great. Here's the guy you need to talk to.
Right. So they said, but text him first. So I text. Nothing. I call. Nothing. I call again. Nothing. I'm about ready to call the other guy back and say, hey, is there a better number?
Right.
Is there a different name?
Right.
Because this guy, I'm getting nowhere, because I don't care.
Mm-hmm.
So then I finally hear back from this guy. He says, you know what? We had some changes in the department, and
Yes.
now you need to talk to this person.
Mm-hmm.
So, but I don't have a contact for that person. So we got in the car, drove to the front door, walked in,
Yep.
charmed the front staff.
That's right.
Because I'm telling you what, you better work on your initial impression skills.
Right.
Because if you can nail that, you can get past the gatekeeper. You can get past
Every
the door.
single time.
And we ended up and there were 3 people standing. There was someone sitting at the desk. No, there were 4. Someone sitting at the desk, a person standing here, a person standing there, and a person standing here.
Right.
And we could have gotten really intimidated. We didn't. We just walked in like we're there for, I don't know, for a party.
Yeah.
We're here.
And they gave us 20 minutes.
Yep.
That was a great meeting.
We ended up sitting down with them for 20 minutes, and it was fantastic. So I'm just telling you, if you can push past the stories that you tell yourself, I could have, from the get-go, when I, didn't hear back the first time, I could have just given up.
And most people do.
And I
that's
have.
the difference.
That's the reality
That's
have.
the difference with success.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Refocus.
And one thing that one of my great mentors in sales, Malcolm Adams, taught me is he said, David, don't reinvent the wheel. Strip through an entire category. Pick the types of businesses you want to call on and call on everyone in that category. And when you've called on everyone in that category, if you've gotten a no from everyone, start over again. And I got to tell you, that works. Strip through a category. If you want a car dealership to be an advertiser on your radio show, go see every car dealer within 100 miles. One of them's going to say yes.
There you go. Yeah. We get to where we don't want to put in the work anymore.
Right. Well, and lenders with realtors. We think they're a top producer. They must have a great relationship with their lender. I'll never get a shot. Well, I got news for you. A lot of people are frustrated with their lenders right now because it's a market shift. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Well, let me change that perspective a little bit too. I was a top producer and didn't really know anything about the lending process.
Right.
Didn't think it was terribly important.
Right.
Which I was so wrong, and didn't have a regular person, a lender that I sent my
and
business to.
You've got a regular person now.
Well, it became really important to know that piece of it. I used to say to my mentor in real estate, I would say to him, I don't get involved in that because I let the expert be the expert.
Right.
I had no idea how important all the different pieces are. Now I do. But at that time, I was just producing.
That's right. You had your head down and you were going to work.
That's right.
Another part of not persistence,
perseverance.
But perseverance is keeping your head down and going to work.
And taking the time off when you need to.
That's exactly
It's all
right.
a part of it. It's that ebb and flow. It's the music of your business, the music of your life.
There you go. This has been The Session with Londa and David, brought to you again by Sherwood Austin Solutions. Email Londa at sherwoodaustin.com if you want to find out more about how we can help your business grow and become a better place to work. We'd love to help you. If you want to listen to us on the radio, you can download the News Talk 98.5 app for your phone and hear us anytime on News Talk 98.5, the talk of Acadiana. We'll see you next week.